Hello and welcome to day 5. Yes, that's 5 days in a row of a live stream to my dream for me, which has so much to do with you because we are all here reclaiming power together, reclaiming power with me, Rachelle, yours truly, because that's what I'm about. I know all too well what it is to feel completely powerless in my life, to feel totally embodied of disempowered instead of empowered. And so that is definitely what's led me to know what my purpose in life, my mission in life in this world is, especially on the days when I feel a bit more powerless than what I would like to. And today just may very well be one of those days. Let's have a sip, shall we? Before we dive into this, because, ooh. I just love my tea. In the summer, it's green tea with wild orange essential oil dripped on the tea bag. Oh, and then I, of course, steep that, and then I add my raw, unfiltered, organic mesquite honey from Rango Honey here local out of Tempe, Arizona. So just had to, call them out because, oh my God. Oh, and actually I also use, I think this one today might be the Honey Man out of Prescott, Arizona. Oh, I'm all about my honey. Whatever to incorporate a little bit more sweet in life without it being the toxic sweet. The things that are not good for ourselves, especially when we use these things as coping mechanisms a lot to, manage something called fear. We're afraid that this isn't going to happen or that is going to happen. We're afraid that we're not good enough. We're going to get rejected. We're not going to get that job. We're going to lose our house. We're going to lose our car. We're afraid we're going to get rejected. We're going to be judged. We're going to be persecuted. We're going to be ostracized from society. There's so many fears constantly bombarding us. And that's why we're going to have a Fear Friday kind of day. And we're going to learn how to just let fear fizzle. Okay? Let it just dissipate away, because we're the ones that either feed it or allow it to fizzle. And with that, I think I need another sip. That is so yummy right now. And maybe perchance again, it's that space of the energies being just kind of challenging, very challenging lately. I only just heard about whatever went down this morning with the whole Microsoft crash thing going on. Grateful that it did not affect me directly. However, that just kind of opens up this whole rabbit hole of so many other things to be afraid of. Isn't there like an abundance of things to be afraid of in this world? Like an abundance. And fear, right? It's that anxiety. It's that creates that anxiety within us that keeps us up at night, that causes our stress level to be through the roof. And it wreaks havoc on our bodies, on our minds, on our souls, on the totality of us. When we let these fears really take root in us and allow them to become not just even temporary anxiety, but long-term anxiety, even to the extent of panic attacks. I mean, who here has a history or a current present period going on with, extreme anxiety or even panic attacks? I know I definitely have a history of extreme anxiety, so bad that I couldn't leave my house many years ago. I have since gratefully, healed all of that space and flew to India and back by myself a couple years ago. So, you know, you can heal, you can overcome, you can transmute and transcend and step more and more into your power and become more and more, well, empowered. And that's what we're here to do. We're here to look for, find, and reclaim all of our power along this, which is each our own self-love empowerment journey. We get to choose whether our journeys are comprised of disempowered or victim experiences, right? Disempowering experiences, or we can view them as a collection of empowerment experiences where no matter what has happened throughout our lives, we get the choice to look and choose the lens through which we view them, right? We can say that, oh my God, that happened to me, and so as a result, I don't deserve this, I don't get to have that, I'm not allowed that, whatever that is. You stay in that victim mentality. And we're going to talk more about beliefs and mindset and victim mentality. There's, again, so many subjects. I was even looking today before I came on going, am I doing too many lives? Am I recording too many videos? But it's like, it's a commitment and it's only for the 90 days. And then you better believe it's like, whoa, that's it. You know, but that's the thing. There's the fears, right? The fears tied around this vision and this goal and this desire and this purpose of mine, this commitment that I have made to both myself and to all of you to show up and return better than what I was in years past to be fulfilling my purpose here. But those fears, right? Those fears of, but am I good enough? Am I able to do this? Can I do this? They're everywhere. Everywhere. Like I said, I know for a fact if I can overcome something as huge as the magnitude of anxiety that kept me from even leaving my house to flying literally 30 hours, 3 different planes, 30 hours total, in one way, by myself to a completely foreign country that I'd never been to before and did not speak any of the language. I say namaste. That's about the only word that I could even use over there. Okay? But I did that. So again, you have that in you to reclaim your power, to heal what you need to heal so that you can step into who and what you've come to step into. All right, but you have to face the fears. All right. Now, I love this quote by Marianne Williamson. Okay. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate, right? Because we can all acknowledge that we all have the fear of inadequacy, that we're not good enough, right? That we're going to fail, the fear of failure. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. What if you're actually afraid that you're so powerful that you can achieve what you desire, but you allow the fear that you're not powerful enough to stop you from letting you have what you desire? And that the fear you have of whatever you desire or whatever is on the other side there of, you know, again, doing what I do, stepping out, putting myself out here like this, right? You just opens to so many not good things. But guess what? It also opens to so many amazing things. So it's that space of saying, wait a minute. I know I am powerful. I know this. Like, I don't even comprehend yet how powerful I am. And I can guarantee you, sister, that you don't either. That you really don't realize how powerful you truly are. That even as life, that certain circumstances or certain things in life are not quite how you'd prefer them to be, that you have the power to change them, because actually you're the one that's in your power of creating them as they are based on whatever beliefs you have. If you have fear-based beliefs, if you're focusing on the negative outcome, look at your life and see what your outcomes are. If you're getting more of a negative experience, more of things that you are afraid of happening, and they seem to keep happening, but you're afraid of them happening, it's because you keep feeding that. Remember, intention, where your intention, not just attention, where your intention and attention goes, that's where your energy flows. And so that's what you are opening yourself up to, having flow back at you. Instead, we can take the opportunity and say, okay, wait a minute now. There have been times that I have been so scared. I've been so scared. I was so sure it was going to go that way, and I was so afraid it was going to go that way. And then it actually went completely the opposite, and it turned out to be amazing. Do you realize that you can choose to even look back on those times and focus on the amazing? That's one of the ways, here we go, here's a first example of how you can let the fear fizzle. Is that when this fear appears, you can say, now wait a minute, I'm afraid that it's going to turn out this way. I'm afraid that it's going to be this end result, or this is going to happen to me, which things don't happen to us, right? They happen for us. So that you can have the opportunity then to look in this situation and go, wait a minute, I can choose. I have the power to choose to shift my perspective and allow myself to view through the lens of saying, but wait a minute, I was scared before and everything worked out even better than I could have imagined. So why not, if you are in a situation where you are scared of how it's going to go, and it's like like a monster in the room kind of thing here, you have the choice to, at the very least, if you're not able to see any positive result, which that's first and foremost what you got to do, is let yourself start to see a positive outcome instead of the negative. But if you're not able to, look at the other times when you thought it was going to go bad, but it went good. And there was this all of a sudden miracle. Because see, if you're tuning then yourself to miracles, guess what? You're open for miracles to happen. So whatever fear of whatever circumstance or situation you're having right now, you can dissipate that. You can allow for the fear to fizzle if you choose to feed something else. And so this is one of the most simple things you can do, is if you're not quite in, again, that mental capacity because you're emotionally, mentally, overwhelmed, which we're going to talk about this tomorrow, stress and overwhelm, that you're just not able to calm yourself to kind of get to the root, the why of what this fear is. Remember, we talked about that yesterday with intention and purpose. Get to the root of why, and then you can really dismantle it. If you're not in that, then again, look at the ways in life where things have worked out for you. Even when you weren't sure if they were going to, they do. We have to remind ourselves that everything does work out. If you're sitting here with me, everything is okay. Everything is working out just fine. Let yourself see this. So that's going to be the number 2 thing for dissipating fear, or letting fear fizzle. First and foremost, just focus on something entirely different of when things did work out in your favor, right? And you were afraid that they weren't going to work out in your favor. The second thing, now I'm like, what was the second thing? Practicing the pivot, right? You don't even need to focus on anything fear-based. That's what it was getting to the root, right? The why you're doing it. Boy, for a moment, with all this stuff going on my screens here, I'm like, what? Let me just have a breath for a moment. Okay. So the second thing is, again, to break down why you have this fear and let yourself shift your perspective. Shift to a view of it actually working out in your favor. Because I promise you, no matter what circumstance or situation you're in, there is a preferred outcome that you have, right? One that you would rather it be versus the one you're afraid of it being. Why not pivot and focus on that? So when you have that time versus focusing on those times in life when you were afraid something was going to not go your way, but it ended up going better or did go work out in your favor. When you have, again, you're able to ground into this fear, into this space where you are, and actually look at it and dissect it and completely dissipate it, then you take that time to ask why I have this fear, and then what is the outcome that I prefer to be experiencing, and then write it out, and then start focusing on that instead of the fear-based outcome. You are that powerful, and watch how things shift. You shift, things shift. You don't shift, things don't shift. Not usually, right? Not usually. Hello, Goddess Therese. And Goddess Renee, I see you. I love that. All right. So I do want to, of course, we're going to define fear in a way that is kind of like something we'll remember very easily. So fear. In my world, we say, fear is false evidence appearing real. False evidence appearing real. Meaning something your mind is blowing way out of proportion. Someone called me irrational recently because of something. Your mind is being a bit irrational. Blowing something way out of proportion because that ego aspect of you wants to control you. It thinks it's protecting you. And just because certain things in your past may not have worked out the way you would have preferred them, because you were tuned to fear and there were lessons to learn. You had power to reclaim in those spaces. That's the way you can choose to look at it. I had a moment here. False evidence, yes, false. Irrational, mind. Why am I, it's day 5, y'all. Day 5. And then I'm doing editing behind the scenes and all sorts of, you have no idea. No idea. So, false evidence appearing real. Meaning the mind is making a mountain out of a molehill. It's using reference points of the past, of different occurrences, different circumstances, and it's blocking you from experiencing something new and different and better and more expansive when we let that fear win. So here's your choice. You have a choice when presented with this false evidence appearing real. You can let it win, right? You can forget everything and run. That is option number 1 when it comes to fear. You can forget everything and run. Forget everything you've learned, forget your power, forget it all, and just run away and say, never mind, I'm not doing this. Or you can face everything and rise. You can rise to the occasion and allow yourself to see that this is my next level me. This is my opportunity to reclaim what I once gave away in this space. That I get to be the one. Oh, yes, I do. I get to be the one to stand in my power. And I'm hearing Simba. Danger? Ha! I laugh in the face of danger. Because listen, y'all. You don't know when your ticket is going to be called. out of this world. You don't. You don't. And maybe these last 4 to 5 years have really got me on that trip because, wow. Let me just make the announcement that it seems there might be some in this world don't quite understand or grasp or understand or overstand. Eventually, at some point in your timeline, in your journey, you will meet your end. So to have a fear of the end, first and foremost, that's the space of like, oh, you're already putting a cloud over your entire experience for while you're here. That's the experience that you're going to create for yourself. And I definitely recognize for me as someone who at age 11 had a steak knife to my wrist and my mother had said, do it, I don't care. Yes, mommy dearest, thanks. I know what it's like very, very well to have that deep-seated self-loathing that you have to learn to grow, to love yourself and discover your self-worth. I know what it is to be absolutely afraid of not being good enough, of being judged, of being ridiculed, of being abandoned. I know all these fears. But ultimately, again, you have the choice, just like I always have the choice. And I definitely am choosing, who's choosing it with me? I am definitely choosing to face everything and rise. I'm only going to be here so long. You're only going to be here so long. So we face everything and rise. And so one of the most important things outside of the two pivot factors of, looking at the ways, I'm going to reiterate again, looking at the ways that things have worked out for you, but you weren't quite so confident they were. But then to name your fears, that's what we'll call this. You name your fears, to actually face them head on and ask yourself, why? Why am I afraid of this? What am I afraid of in this? But why am I afraid of this? Because when you can shine the light on the shadows, there's no longer something hiding in the dark. And it's ultimately, I always experience this when it comes to fears as well, is that it's like the big, huge lion shadow on the wall, but then you come around the corner with the flashlight and it's just a itty bitty little fuzzy kitten. That's why we name our fears. So then it really goes from this big, huge thing and it gets fizzled down to, oh, a little fuzzy kitty. A little fuzzy baby kitty. Hey, all of a sudden want to hold a fuzzy baby kitten. We are not manifesting more kitties. No. But allow yourself to see what you need to see. All right? And if you are not quite sure you're ready to see what you need to see, or not quite sure how to get to what you need to see, I'm here for you. 30-minute video sessions available at IamEmpowered.as.me, and you and I together will see what it is that you most need to see. And of course, what I need to see in that experience with you. We can use cards. It can just be coaching. But you can be assured if we use cards, it's coaching too. And that's how that works. So again, to reiterate, fear, summarize, false evidence appearing real. Okay? It's 9.99999 times out of 10. It's not what your mind is making it to be. Okay? So you have to ground yourself. You have to ground yourself and let the fear fizzle. Okay? I will say this from a time when that anxiety was so severe, you know, panic attacks all the time. Most important is to be present, is to practice just coming into the moment and grounding into the moment and recognizing that here and now is the only space and place where I can find and connect with my power. Because when you are having extreme anxiety, when you have these fears that are just controlling your life, it means you are living in your head, not in your body space. You're in your head. When you're letting all of these stories control your experience rather than having an experience. You're letting this be your experience. I know what that's like. And so that is why, with regards to letting our fear fizzle right now, they are great sessions. Oh, thank you, Goddess Therese, in regards to my coaching sessions. So yeah, with regards to, you know, letting fear fizzle, especially again in this time with all the craziness happening outside of us in the world, it's so vital that for your own sanity, your own well-being, that you give yourself what you need. You get control over you, and these fears, face them. Hello, Goddess Tina. Face them so that you can take your power, reclaim your power back from them. All right, and so with that, we're going to do what we are loving lately, and that's the Crystal Mandala Activation cards. We're going to pull us a quick little affirmation, empowerment, crystal energy. I feel like energy. And because I love my cards, like I mentioned yesterday, I shuffle them my own little delicate way here. We have had carnelian. Oh, well, looky there. We have had carnelian and selenite for our cards, our crystal cards so far. And for today's, which by the way, the eyes closed is because you see they're all beautiful colors and I don't want to be swayed in either which way for what to pull. Today's card is, ooh, it's hematite, which is major negative energy transmuter. Holy moly. And we're talking about fears, and we're talking about transmuting those fears, right? And letting them fizzle. Oh, wow. Just cannot make this up. I love this so much. So it says, Goddess Durga and hematite, spear of the Guru Mother. And it says, I narrow my choices to what is ripe in this moment and commit myself wholly and gracefully to the task. Talk about focusing energy right there, right? What are you choosing to commit yourself to? What are you choosing to focus on? Says, the universe lovingly shows me the swiftest and kindest way forward in each moment. Goddesses, in order to be tuned into where you're being guided to go in each moment, you have to be tapped into your inner power. You have to be connected with you. You have to be knowing you. Reclaiming your power. With perfect timing, I rise to greet my destiny. Ooh! Ooh! Fear. And what are we doing, goddesses? We are facing everything and rising. That's what we're doing. And that is exactly why, with perfect timing, I rise to greet my destiny. And that is what we're doing, right? Your power, you're so powerful. And you are right now reclaiming that power so you could be rising and rising as the old is crumbling and it feels so heavy and it's going to be even more chaos. That's why you have to be knowing your power and be tapping into it. Tapping into it. The divine encodes sacred desires in my heart and provides me with the inner resources and external opportunities required to manifest them. Tap into your power. Begins within to attract that which is without. Resolution is rapid and progress is assured. Ooh! Ultimately, what we're hearing here is that you've got to be the one to make sure you clarify and commit and be consistent and intend, like get your energy aligned so that when these fears make themselves known, you're like, no, nope, you batting them bitches. It's like, no, not doing this. And you are able to stay focused. You're able to fizzle those fears out, dismantle, transmute whatever you need. And then you are able to then, sorry, I just got a weird little pop-up thing. Then you're able to continue to move forward consistently and in your power more and more and more. Okay? So with that, that is today's Reclaiming with Rachelle. Fear. Fear Friday. Let fear fizzle. And the power to do so, it is in your hands. And I'm here to support you in knowing that. So book your session today at IamEmpowered.as.me. And let's face those fears together. Let's get them fizzled away and get you more empowered than ever and moving forward and toward your goals, dreams, and desires today. So with that, remember, the power, it is in your hands. Because that power, I promise you, that power has always, always been inside you. Namaste.